This is PreCalc 11, Chapter 5.2. This time we're going to be looking at graphing linear inequalities in two variables. And again, we have four forms, but this time we have two variables. Ax plus by plus c is less than 0, greater than 0, less than or equal to 0, and greater than or equal to 0. Now, it's easier for most people to plot in slope-intercept form. So to convert this into slope-intercept form, we move the ax and the c over to the other side. They both become negative. And then we divide both sides by b, and we get the following formula. Minus a over b, x, that's our slope, minus c over b, and that's our intercept. Then we simply have the condition where y is below the line, below or equal to the line, y is greater than the line, y is greater than or equal to the line. And in general, we have this line. If we have this shaded in, we have y is greater than or equal to the line. And if we have this shaded in, that means we have y is less than or equal to the line. If we have a strict condition, we have a dotted line. Here, it's a solid line, so it means it's a not strict condition. So we have greater than or less than, but it's easier to think of above the line or below the line. Here we have another example. This is a strict condition. It doesn't matter which way that's sloping. If we're drawing above, we have y is greater than the line. And if we're drawing below, this is y is less than the line. And again, dotted is strict, solid is not strict. Now, if you need to do test points, always try 0, 0 unless the line goes through the origin. So let's try this example. If we have 0 minus 0 plus 4 is greater than or equal to 0, that means this is true. 4 is greater than or equal to 0. So we shade the half containing the origin. So let's look at this. The origin is in this half, and if it's true, we shade this half. If false, shade other half. Now, why do we need to do another test point if the line goes through the origin? If the line goes through the origin, the test point is on the line, so it's not actually in one half or the other half. So you have to do another test point. An easy test point would be 1, 1. Or if that doesn't work, you can try negative 1, 1. Just pick a point that's not on a line. There's another way to graph lines other than slope-intercept form, and that's in the general form. And what we do is we find the intercepts. So we plug in 0 for 1, so 0 minus 4y plus 4 equals 0. And we'll do minus 4y equals negative 4, so y equals 1. So that's our intercept. So 0, 1. Now we plug in 0 for y, and we get 2x minus 0 plus 4 equals 0. So 2x equals negative 4, x equals negative 2. So we have negative 2 comma 0. And we graph our line. This one's a not strict inequality. That means we draw a solid line. And let's do a test point 0, 0. Again, we get 0 minus 0 plus 4 is greater than 0. So shade half with origin. So we shade this half. And that's our test point. Okay, let's look at how to graph with a calculator. Okay, if your algebra is slow, you can just use the formula. Otherwise, do it algebraically. We want to move everything over to the other side. Minus 4y is greater than or equal to minus 2x minus 4. Y is less than or equal to 1/2 x plus 1. So we divide by negative 4. This becomes positive 1/2. Divide that by negative 4. That becomes 1. If we're using the formula, we have y is less than or equal to minus 2 divided by minus 4 divided by minus 4. So this is less than or equal to 1/2 x plus 1. Two negative signs cancel, two negative signs cancel, and we're flipping the sign because dividing by negative b. B is negative. Okay, so we bring up a calculator. I'll show you on the TI first. Okay, so rather than doing 1/2 x, I'm just going to do x divided by 2 plus 1. And the way we get to plot under is we go to the very left. It's flashing on the very left now. I've cursored left. And we press enter until we see the lower shade. And then we graph. And this is our result. Okay, let's bring up the Casio calculator. The Casio works a little bit differently. You need to enter the type first. So we press F3. We need to press this one, F6, to get to the inequalities. We want a less than or equal, so we press F4. And what you want to notice is this is now less than or equal. And when we enter our function, it will have that property. So we enter x divided by 2 plus 1 and exe. So we have this inequality, and we can press graph. And we get the same graph. And on to our last method. We can use intercepts without using test points. All we have to do is make the y coefficient positive. This is negative, so we multiply by everything by negative 1. And we flip the sign. And we plug in our zeros to get intercepts. So 3y equals negative 6. So y equals negative 2. And we have 0, negative 2. Then we plug 0 in for y. We get negative 2x equals negative 6. So x equals 3. So we have 3, 0. And we have these points here. We draw the line. And this is less than, so we just shade below. And if you don't trust this, you can just use a test point. Until you do trust this method, we plug in 0 plus 0 is less than or equal to negative 6. This is false. So shade half without origin. So the origin is here, we shade this half. So use whatever method that you are comfortable with, unless you're told to use a specific way, such as using a test point. And we're going to do one last thing. We're going to sketch with extra restrictions. This is negative. So sketch this. Negative 2x plus 3. Y is greater than negative 3. So negative 3 is here. And x is greater than 0. So we also have this one. So less than this one. We have greater than this one. And we have greater than 0. And they all intersect there. You need to do the intersection of all the restrictions. And that completes this lesson.